spotted there.
The world is full of mysteries, and while most people only focus on the beautiful parts, there are some mysterious places that remain unexplained no matter how advanced science gets. So join me in this video as I take you to the most mysterious places in the world that scientists can't explain. Plain of Jars, Laos. Not many people know about this place, but those who do like to wander definitely go here and witness these mysterious structures that literally have zero explanation about them. In the remote plains of the Chiang Quang Plateau in Laos, there are thousands of massive ancient stone jars scattered around. They were made out of clay, sandstone, dung, and sugar before the massive jars were baked in kilns. How massive was the kiln that was used for these things? That's something no one has been able to answer. Now here's another interesting thing. Scientists believe that these structures date back to the Iron Age. These jars are so massive that the biggest ones can be as big as 3 meters. And there are almost 90 known sites in the area that have these jars there. All the jars are undecorated. However, there's one jar at Site 1 that has a human frogman bas relief carved on it. Also, since almost every jar has lip rims, it's believed that they had lids as well. And yes, they did find lids made out of stone with animal carvings on them. But since the lids are less than the jars, it is believed that the material used in making them was perishable. It's believed that some of these jars weigh almost about 10 tons, which makes everyone question the way these structures were transported here, because they had to be moved from the quarry, which is about 6 miles away from there, to be present there today. The mechanism used to build these jars and the transportation method remains largely unknown. However, there's one thing that the scientists have been able to guess, and that's the purpose of these jars. Apparently, some scientists believe that these jars might have been used for some death ceremonies commemorating the dead. But even this theory is not something one can believe 100%. The site has been considered a UNESCO World Heritage Site since 2019, and it remains a mystery that probably no one will be able to solve. Cave of Crystals, Mexico. Now this one's even weirder because despite being a natural cave, the phenomenon behind it has been unexplained. About 300 meters under the ground, in Rica, Chihuahua, Mexico, this magical yet deadly cave is full of crystals that have left scientists in awe. In 2000, 2 miners discovered this cave accidentally. When they saw the inside of this cave, they were left amazed and surprised by the unusual look of it. No matter how you put it, this cave amazes everyone around the world because of many reasons. The crystals in the cave are about 39 feet tall and 3 feet wide. It's said that the crystals were possibly formed by a process called nucleation, but how did they get so massive? That's where things get unanswerable. Even though scientists know that the mineral-rich water inside the cave is why the crystals were formed, the size of these crystals is totally not normal. Crystals don't usually grow so big, but the ones found in Rica are literally gigantic. What's even crazier is the fact that the crystals in the neighboring caves, which grow from the same waters as the ones in the Cave of Crystals, aren't that big. To top that off, these crystals are still growing at a slow speed. Fairy circles, Namibia. In the grasslands of the Namib Desert, there lies a secret that no one has been able to reveal so far. The desert showcases a series of unexplained fairy circles, and scientists haven't been able to understand the exact reason behind this phenomenon. So what happens is that short grasses make circular patches ranging anywhere between 10 to 65 feet in diameter for no explainable reason. The circles can be found stretching over hundreds of miles in the desert, which makes it even weirder. Scientists say that these fairy circles mostly appear in arid areas, but then again, the reason or purpose behind them remains a mystery. There are several theories and legends about these fairy circles, and one of them states that the gods were responsible for creating these circles as they left massive footprints in red dirt. Honestly, looking at them from satellite footage can really make you think that these might actually be footprints. And while the scientists don't believe in these folk tales, they themselves have no solid explanation about this whole thing either. They say that it could be because of the plants that are competing for water, or maybe the termites caused this whole thing. Stone spheres, Costa Rica. Back in the 1930s, the United Fruit Company Costa Rica bought land for banana trees, but something weird was waiting for the owners in this place. The area had several stone spheres scattered across miles, and the purpose behind them was unknown. These rocks are almost perfectly round, and that's exactly what makes them mysterious. It's not common to find so many rocks of the same size rounded in the same way. Some of these rocks are as big as 6 feet in diameter, but since the company bought the land, they made the workers move the spheres and continue planting banana trees. Years after this, archaeologists finally noticed these strange balls made out of stone and tried to study their origin. They confirmed that these stone spheres were not naturally formed, but someone carved them that way. Even though it's still not confirmed who made these rock spheres, the general belief is that the pre-Columbian cultures of Costa Rica might have been involved in this. But then the question arises, why did they need to make these? There's no practical use of these spheres, and no historical context actually explains what these might have been used for. Even after years of study, no one has been able to understand the purpose of these giant balls. Bermuda Triangle, Atlantic Ocean. Now this one's pretty famous, and I know most of you are waiting for me to talk about the infamous Bermuda Triangle. Located in the western part of the northern Atlantic Ocean, the Bermuda Triangle has been a mystery for decades, and no one has even gotten a hint of what causes all of that to happen in this area of the world. It covers an area of over 500,000 square miles between Bermuda, Miami in Florida, and San Juan in Puerto Rico. Over the years, over 20 planes and 50 ships have crashed in this area without a solid reason. In fact, none of the incidents had any explanation of what was going on. It's even said that some of these planes and ships disappeared in this part of the world and were not found. Now, just like any other mysterious place in the world, the Bermuda Triangle has attracted many theories. Some people believe that the area could be some portal to another universe, while others think of a more logical answer, saying that it's possibly the magnetic field of the area that causes all of it. Eternal Flame Falls, New York. In western New York, there's a waterfall called the Eternal Flame Falls, located in the Shale Creek Preserve, and it has baffled geologists with the weird combo of fire and water for years. Standing at a particular position, one can see a small flickering flame in the caves behind the water. At first, it was believed that the rocks released natural gas there, and that was the reason behind the fire. That's what has been the reason behind other similar fires found across the world. However, one research study confirmed that the rocks weren't hot enough to cause that phenomenon. Then why is the fire burning there if the rocks don't even have enough natural gas for that to happen? That's something no one has been able to explain so far. Some believe that the ancient native tribes might have lit the fire there. But how is it still running? Hessdalen Lights, Norway. In a Norwegian town named Hessdalen, there's a weird thing that happens often. Over the years, many people have witnessed strange lights appear in the sky. The first report of these strange lights dates back to the early 20th century. After that, the lights appeared several times. Sometimes they are massive, and other times very small. Not only that, these lights can even stay in the sky for hours at times. During the 1980s, the lights would appear so much that the UFO hunters were sure that aliens were living in the area. But after that, these weird lights started appearing less and less. But yes, they still appear every now and then. Even after decades of study, scientists are unable to say what exactly might be the cause of these random lights. There are several explanations, but none of them has been said to be 100% true. It's said that it could be the presence of piezoelectricity or cosmic rays, but nothing's for sure. Nazca Lines, Peru. The Nazca Lines are a mysterious group of geoglyphs made in the Nazca Desert in Peru. Now, if one looks at them from the ground, it's hard to say what's drawn with those lines. But if one sees them from the sky, these lines appear as something strange. They look like paintings of animals made by some kid. But the problem is, they need to be bigger for a kid to make. The lines cover over 170 square miles of the desert, dating back to about 500 BCE. Researchers also believe that the one who drew these lines had to remove the top layer of black stone so that the white sand could show. Which means it definitely took a significant amount of time to do that. But why'd anyone draw such big pictures? That also in ancient times. To top that off, how was the artist behind this able to know what he or she was drawing? I mean, you have to be at a certain height to be able to see the whole thing, right? Richat structure, Mauritania. The Richat structure, also known as the Eye of the Sahara, is a natural wonder located in the Western Sahara Desert. It's a massive geological formation that resembles a giant eye and measures 31 miles in diameter. Despite its circular ridges and concentric rings, it's not a crater left by something smashing into Earth, but rather an uplifted dome made of layers of rock that have been exposed over millions of years. In the beginning, a bunch of experts thought it was a huge crater left by something smashing into Earth. But nope, turns out it's way more interesting than that. After a lot of digging and checking it out from space, scientists figured out that it's the rocks under it that cause the area to look like that. But if it's not a crater, then why are the rocks in that area like this? That's something no one has answered so far. Some people believe that this might be the remains of the city of Atlantis. Yes, the same city that Plato described. But scientists don't really agree with that belief, because if it was the remains of a city, there would have been some signs. But it's more like some strange, mysterious natural phenomenon that doesn't seem to make any sense. Stonehenge, England. Stonehenge has to be the strangest circle of rocks among all the others found around the world. It's one of the most famous yet mysterious sites ever, because even with today's technology, historians and scientists have been unable to figure out the actual purpose of this rock formation. It was built over 5,000 years ago, and that's what amazes everyone. How were those people able to move those massive rocks? There was even a time when people believed that aliens helped these people form Stonehenge, but scientists think otherwise. They definitely had some mechanism that worked perfectly for putting those stones up there. Some believe that these people might have dragged the rocks to the site by using sledges. Not only that, they also say that these people probably used pig fat as a lubricant. But even if that's the answer, how did they put them up there? Not like they had massive cranes to do so. And to top that off, some of these stones have stood there for over 4,500 years. Uluru, Australia. Also known as Ayers Rock, Uluru is located in the Uluru Kata National Park in Australia. This mysterious rock and its unique formation has always intrigued people. For centuries, it has been one of the most sacred places in Australia, as it is said to be important to the Anangu people. The formation of this rock is a little weird, and even though scientists have given different theories, there's no solid answer for why the rock is so red. However, there are some stories that state that this rock was actually formed by ancestral beings who were the creators of this world. Science, on the other hand, gives a theory that this whole thing started building up over 550 million years ago, and the peculiar color and texture come from erosion and oxidation. But do I believe both theories? Not really. They need to study it once again so they can tell what's going on there. Blood Falls, Antarctica. Ever imagined a place where the ice itself bleeds? In Antarctica, there lies a waterfall unlike any other. A waterfall where, instead of clear water, one can see something similar to blood coming out. For years, geologists have wondered about the main cause behind it. At first, algae were blamed for the red color, but it turns out that things have been different all along. Apparently, around 2 million years ago, a saltwater lake found itself trapped within the confines of Taylor Glacier. Devoid of any contact with the outside world, this hidden lake started to transform. Its high iron content, coupled with a unique level of salinity, set the stage for the rust-red color that would, over millennia, seep through the ice, emerging as the mysterious red waterfall we see today. It is, in fact, a creepy one. Morocco Boulders, New Zealand. These massive spherical boulders can be found lying around on Cocohe Beach in New Zealand. They are not arranged in some specific manner, but instead, they are scattered throughout the beach. Some of them are in clusters, while others just sit there individually. Research says that these boulders have been exhumed from the mudstone and bedrock, and the coastal erosion caused them to look like they do now. But no specific reasoning behind why this phenomenon happened on this beach has been given. In fact, many questions arise. If the boulders were formed naturally, then why do no new ones appear anymore? While science is still not able to answer what happened there for these boulders to be formed, there's an ancient Maori legend that tells an interesting tale about them. They say that these boulders are actually either food containers or gourds that were washed ashore after the wreckage of a canoe. Apparently, this ship is what brought their ancestors to New Zealand's South Island. But honestly, those things don't look like some containers and definitely not like gourds. Another theory suggests that those are alien eggs. I mean, when did we assume that aliens lay eggs? What are they? Chickens? Well, I guess the only sensible theory is the scientific one, so let's just believe that for now, until they find the truth. Great Blue Hole, Belize. The Great Blue Hole is actually the world's biggest sinkhole, and yes, it is mesmerizing. But at the same time, it's also pretty creepy and mysterious. Measuring around 1,000 feet in diameter and about 400 feet deep, this sinkhole was a mystery until late 2018. In 2018, an expedition was finally sent inside the Great Blue Hole, and this group included explorer Jacques Cousteau's grandson, Fabien Cousteau, and Sir Richard Branson, who shot a video of the sinkhole through a submarine. And yes, the things inside were even weirder. The unidentifiable tracks inside the sinkhole make it creepy, and no one has explored the entirety of it yet. Racetrack Plier, California, USA. The Racetrack Plier is an unexplained track in California, USA, which literally causes the rocks to glide over it. Weird, right? This dry lake bed in California's Death Valley has racetracks made on it because of the continuously gliding rocks all over it. Now the question is, what causes those rocks to glide over it like that? Some say it might be some magnetic force, while others think it's some mythical stuff going on here. In 2013, however, scientists might have found the reason behind the phenomenon as they concluded that the rocks only move when the ground is icy, so they might just be gliding because of the ice. But if you watch closely, do you see any ice? Or water? So, how did those rocks literally create a whole racetrack there? I wonder. Loch Ness, Scotland. Loch Ness in Scotland has achieved global fame, not for its picturesque landscapes alone, but for the legendary creature rumored to inhabit its waters. The Loch Ness Monster, affectionately known as Nessie, captured public attention for the first time in 1933. Initially dismissed by a newspaper as merely a disturbance caused by ducks, the intrigue around Nessie grew, especially after a 1934 photograph seemingly showed a creature with a long neck. However, this image was later revealed to be a hoax. Recent theories have speculated that Nessie could either be a large eel or simply submerged debris, such as a mass of fallen branches. But even today, people believe that the lake has a monster dwelling in it, and that's why it has been considered one of the most mysterious places in the world. Hoia Bachu Forest, Romania. When in a forest, one can feel scared, but no place in the world can compare to the horror that Hoia Bachu Forest has hidden inside of it. Known as the most haunted forest in the world, this forest in Romania has also surprised scientists for a long time. Most trees here are crooked and twisted, which makes it even scarier because aren't trees supposed to grow straight? To top that off, there are so many stories of alien encounters in this forest that someone with a weak heart like mine wouldn't even dare to go near it. And the biggest mystery of this forest is the clearing. It's a clear area in the center of the forest where no plant grows, and no one really knows why nothing grows there. Kawae Indonesia. Like other countries in the world, Indonesia also has some places that really don't have any explanation. One of them is the Kawae Lake. Now, from afar, this lake might look like it's the most beautiful place to be, and you might even want to swim in its beautiful turquoise water. But wait, the water in this lake is not any regular water, but it's actually the world's largest acidic lake. I mean, it's in a crater of Kawae volcano, so obviously it's not safe to be in, right? The lake gives out electric blue flames, and yes, they look beautiful. For the longest time, no one could understand what was going on here. But just recently, it was revealed that the high levels of sulfuric acid were the cause of all that beautiful color, steam, and acidic nature of this lake. Lake Hilia, Australia. Lake Hilia in Australia is so pink that one might even want to use it as a blush. But what in the world causes this beautiful color? The actual reason behind its color is unknown. However, there is one theory. Apparently, the high intensity of salt in the water is why the water is so pink. But then again, why is the seawater near this lake not so pink? Crooked Forest, Poland. The town of Gryfino is known for its crooked forest, which is a weird sight. The forest has over 400 pine trees, and none of them is normal. Almost all of them have identical twisted bases of the trunk, which is weird because pine trees aren't supposed to be twisted like that. Some theories suggest that a snowstorm caused it. At the same time, others think it's the gravitational pull that changed their shape. But so far, no one has had a clear answer to why it happened. They look weird, don't they? And that was all for today. Which one of these places do you think is the strangest? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to hit those like and subscribe buttons. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.